So now I think it's worth talking about what we think about when we think about building things remotely in far off locations. In a typical project, we often consider place and purpose or function, material, construction, and transportation, sometimes in that order, where place is the most important and transportation and construction comes all the way at the end. When you think about designing remotely, many times the things that normally come last begin to come first. So transportation, how do you get materials there? How do you get people there becomes very important. The way that you build it becomes even more important. How much can you build off-site through prefabrication? And how much can you minimize what you build on-site? Materials as well become very important because when you build remotely, your materials have to be as durable as possible. And now, after you've figured out those problems, then you can think about how your purpose can be focused and minimal, and you can build as little as possible. And then, of course, you can address how the project fits into the natural context and how it benefits the cultural context. So we have been challenged to build many remote projects in different parts of the world. They are all different sizes. They often have to deal with all of the same issues. The wild reindeer pavilion in Dorf, Norway, has a partially prefabricated shell and custom milled recycled timber on the inside. The building is really based on a contrast of two ideas between a hard outer shell and a soft organic center. It's a place where you can see the last wild reindeer herds. You can go inside. It's like a warming hut. And because there's nothing else around, you have an incredible view of the sky from the northern lights to the entire star dome. A project that's currently in design that I'm also working on is the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library in Medora, North Dakota. It's much bigger than the last project, but also it's seeking to reduce its footprint by having a zero emissions overall project approach. One of the key ways we are doing this is through a mass timber structure on the large earth roof that goes over the project. This site is near a small town, but is still far away from most other buildings. And again, you have to think about how you access the project via car, horse, and bike. This project is another remote project currently in the far north Norway, and it's a National Theater and Sami High School. It's a cultural facility dedicated to reindeer husbandry, handicrafts, art, culture, and storytelling. The main central space is it's a natural meeting point where the wood structure and curved lines are inspired by the traditional architecture in the area. The building is shaped to create a variety of outdoor spaces, tailored to meet the needs of the institution, where it opens up through a large inviting main entrance. Another extremely remote project. This is the first building to be built after the energy positive powerhouse standard in a northern climate. This is actually the first hotel, not building, and it reduces its yearly energy consumption by 85%. It was built on the idea of a 360-degree view that also maximizes renewable energy on the roof and daylight on the interior. It uses predominantly wood construction so that all the materials can be brought in easily and with very low embodied energy. And it was inspired by local vernacular architecture, which is structures for drying fish. And as we go, these structures get smaller. And this is a hunting lodge beside a lake in untouched mountain areas that you can only access by horse. The integration of the hut into the landscape uses the views to blend in from the grass side to the stone side to make it almost invisible from certain views. It's a small mountain hut of about 35 meters squared, but it fits 21 people for sleeping and eating and living. The final project that I wanted to show is the Path of Perspectives in Innsbruck, Austria. It was designed for a northern cable railway, and this project produced and introduced a series of 10 architectural elements to highlight the unique features of the mountains. Along the path, there are subtle interventions that blend into the landscape, offering visitors the ability to sit and view and relax in the landscape. Much care was taken to use smaller elements of structure, small wood elements, and to prefabricate as much as possible. So I wanted to leave you now with a saying that I think is very appropriate for this competition, which is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is now. I wanted to thank you and wish you the best of luck in competition.